you've got to take a look at the level of funding the UK government has given defence. And I think the Ministry of Defence has been forced into a situation where it has repeatedly cut expenditure. It's repeatedly having to balance its books on a yearly basis. And that forces it to take decisions in the short term that have long-term implications. The problem is you can't buy time and you can't buy experience. And that's one of the problems we faced with the growth of the IED threat in Afghanistan. The Taliban was able to change its tactics very, very quickly, but our ability to respond required very significant numbers of people to be trained, and you can't buy that experience. It takes a long time to develop a competent high-threat IED operator. From my perspective, you don't win a fight by being defensive. You don't win the fight by being on the back foot. But that's not to say we take the fight kinetically to the enemy, but we need to be adaptive and proactive. We need to move away from the realms of responding to what the enemy is doing to us. We need to be predicting better what he's going to do to us. But critically, we need to be able to identify those that are operating amongst the people who are actively involved in the insurgency operation, who are involved in the use of weapons, who are involved in creating IEDs. We need to identify those, and we need to take them out of circulation and put them through the Afghan judicial process. You can't deal with Afghanistan in isolation. You've got to look at the problem in Pakistan, and particularly the autonomous tribal areas across the border. And I do believe that the operations we are conducting in Afghanistan are really important, for our nation. I think it is really important that we continue to prevent the global rise of al-qaeda. And I think it is much better that we try and counter al-qaeda in Afghanistan than to allow Afghanistan to become a failed state and once again a breeding ground for future terrorism. I'm much more positive and optimistic now regarding operations in Afghanistan than I was in 2007 or 2008. I do feel that the adoption of a broader counterinsurgency strategy that places the Afghan people at the centre of that strategy is the right way to go. But I am concerned that we've set a timetable, and you mentioned the quotes that we may have the clocks, but the Taliban has the time. They know when we're going to move out, and I'm concerned now that they may simply bide their time, wait for NATO and the coalition combat forces to move out, and perhaps have a go at a less capable and less well-equipped Afghan National Security Force.